Something really scary happened to me last year. It's one of those things that starts weird, but then just keeps getting weirder. It was supposed to be a routine day. I was on my way from the airport, so I called a cab on the Bolt app. The driver picked me up. Everything up to that point happened basically as you'd expect it to. Then the trip started, and it was all downhill from there. First, the driver stopped at a filling station to buy fuel. But as we were about to continue on our way, he muttered something about his car having a problem and then disappeared. I'm not joking when I tell you he just left me there in the car for about 15 minutes. Eventually he came back, got things fixed, and we continued driving. But that was not the end of the drama. Not too long later, my cab driver, the guy that I was paying to drive me from the airport to my house, randomly saw a soldier and decided to pick him up. By the side of the road, the car stops again and the soldier gets in. I cannot tell you how confused I was. What do you mean you want to pick up a stranger? I didn't know what to do, so I came down from the cab with my luggage. But the two men simply didn't let me go. The driver asked me to get back into the car. He said he couldn't transfer my money back to me. I told him not to worry, forget the money, I have another cab coming. He told me to cancel it. Like he said, cancel it, you have to come with us. I insisted, and it was just this weird stalemate. Stories like this are not unheard of in Nigeria. In fact, there is a name for when someone gets into a public transport vehicle with the expectation that it will go routinely, but ends up finding themselves in a really, really dangerous situation. It's the worst thing because you're just stuck there, feeling trapped. I was able to get another cab and got home mostly unshaken. The person in our story today did not have such a straightforward trip, but what happens is not at all what you might expect.
It was on a Wednesday. I left home around 6:30. I was going to the church for Bible study. So, and then they had just paid us our salary. So when I got to the bus stop, it was already getting a little dark, So while I was standing at the bus stop, I heard within me that I should go back home. How will I be going to fellowship and I'm hearing a voice within me telling me go? So I felt maybe the devil was talking to me. I'm Helen, and my native name is Osayekemi. I live in Abuja and a civil servant. I'm from Edo State, Benin Gangan, the heartbeats of Nigeria. So when I got to the bus stop, it was already getting a little dark, I was going to the church for Bible study. So, and then they had just paid us our salary. So I collected my salary that week. So I had sent part of the money to my mom because she is elderly. Then I withdrew some that I was going to pay as my tithe in the church, 10% of my salary. So I cashed it and enveloped it. Then I also had some small amounts of money for my transportation to go to church and to come back. So while I was standing at the bus stop, I heard within me that I should go back home. Like somebody was talking to me, that I should go back home. But, I started feeling something was going wrong. How will I be going to fellowship and I'm hearing a voice within me telling me go home? So I started arguing back, and I didn't know when I started talking out loud. I didn't know it cannot happen. I was not conscious of the people around. I was just into myself, I said, no, this is terrible. Why would I go? I must get to church today. Whoever is talking to me, you are on your own. I stayed there stubbornly. Honestly, I heard that voice up to about 3 times. I just had, I can't really describe the way it came, but I had that urge, as if somebody spoke to me, go home. That it was already late, that it was getting towards 7. So I just had myself say, no! And I said that very loud, So I shouted no. And at this point, not long after then, the vehicles that came around, the taxis that came around, painted taxis, they were calling Wuse, and I needed to enter the one that was going to Beggar. So suddenly, a vehicle came, a painted taxi though, painted green. The vehicle did not stop at the bus stop. This one that came went a little further away from where everybody was standing, and it went and stopped there. But because as it came and went to the front, I ran after it. As I got to where the vehicle stopped, the taxi stopped, I said, beggar. He quickly now just turned and said, yes, beggar. But within there was this check within I think that I thought I heard this man said Wuse. But because I was rushing to just leave that place and get to church, I just ignored that caution within me. When I entered the vehicle, it was just the driver alone in the vehicle. So I sat in front because the seat next to the driver in front was empty. So I entered and sat in front. Immediately I entered, I saw the side window of the vehicle was half wind up. So I now told the driver to wind it down. So he told me to wind it down myself. I noticed they had removed the winder. That's the handle now for winding up and down. They had removed it. That's when I became scared. That's when I checked with him to check the vehicle to be sure I was not in a danger zone, So, but I saw the driver told me to pick the winder from somewhere. I had to now look back to be sure there was no other person behind in the vehicle. I asked if he's not going to pick other passengers because I saw he was trying to enter the fast lane. I asked him why he wants to take the fast lane. Said he wants to go fast to a particular bus stop, but I was not too comfortable with them. But because I wasn't sure what was happening, well, I knew it. He just entered the fast lane, and then the next I knew, all the windows. It was done so fast that I didn't even realize it was going to turn into the fast lane. It was so fast. While I was talking, he just used the opportunity but I was already becoming afraid. But all these things were just in less than a minute, everything that happened. He had wind up, he was in the fast lane, and he suddenly just stopped on the express. When he stopped, just turned and he switched off the engine. Then he turned in his seat towards to face me. And the next he said was, "You don't enter our hand now, just cooperate." When he said that, I almost passed out because then I realized that I had made a mistake. While he was saying that, he was busy using his left hand to bring something out. And before I knew it, he brought out a long knife, brought one round rope like that. And then at this point, I started hearing a noise from the back. That's when I realized that we weren't just the two of us. The driver said, "My second for back, he's holding a gun, so just cooperate." I saw the knife with him and the rope. The driver told me to send my bag to the person at the back, which I did. So I gave him my bag, and then I just sat there like that. So at this point, I just started mumbling prayers through my lips. I'm sure he saw my lips were moving. I had to start praying, "God, it's likely I will not make it. Just show me mercy. All I'm asking for is let me make heaven." I said, "God, please, don't let me go to hell." People I didn't know who they were, whether they were just one chance. I didn't know whether they were ritual killers. I didn't know what exactly, because I saw knives. He said the other person was having a gun. I didn't know whether. So I just concluded that it's possible I wasn't going to come out alive. So the thought that came to my mind was just to try to make it right with God in case I don't make it. But I realized I had made a mistake. That's when I realized it wasn't the devil that was talking to me, that it must have been the Spirit of God trying to save me from the situation that he saw was going to happen. I started feeling guilty that I disobeyed God, because I believe it was God. So that was the only thing on my mind at that point. So then they brought out my phone. The driver asked me, "How much is in your bag?" So I told him the exact amount I had. So he brought it out, then took out my phone. They asked me for my PIN because my phone was locked. The password, so I gave it to him. They opened it. I guess the person at the back was searching through my phone. When we were going, the driver started asking me so many questions. "Where are you from, sir?" So I said, "I'm from Edo State." He said, "That's nice. Aitu is from Edo State. Will you like to join us?" was what the next thing they asked me. I said, "Join you for what?" He said, "We need a lady amongst us so that they don't have any female." All this while I was just talking, and it's like the discussion was flying over my head because I felt like I wasn't the one sitting there. He said, "You see, small money, see how much you found in your bag. That if I come to join them, that I won't have a problem. The only thing is they will be sending me to the big shots in Abuja." So I said, "Okay." So I said, "What do I need to do?" He said, "Don't worry. Tomorrow. But before then, we'll need to go and confirm if you've been telling us the truth. We need to go and confirm if every information you gave us is true. That when we get to an ATM, that will check if this pin you gave us is true." So I said, "Okay." I said, "You won't have that. Everything I told you is just the truth." He said, "Okay." The driver told me that they weren't going to take any money from my account, but he promised me that they will only take 1,000 to confirm that the information I gave them about my account and to be sure I wasn't lying to them all the while. So we continued. And they took me round and round, I would say, too, for a while, till around 8, almost 8 p.m. Then it suddenly just stopped at a place. I just heard the driver said, go down. Then the next I saw, the person at the back stretched my bag towards me. So I collected the bag, shaking though. And I saw the driver gave me 400 naira from the money that was in my bag. The driver said again, go down. So when he said go down, I just jumped. Because I didn't believe it was happening. So I just landed like that and they zoomed off. And I just stood there shaking. So when I got to the house, I narrated what happened to my elder sister. So that's why I need to call to me that, my accounts, I needed to block them. So I went out to the street to see if I could get anyone around the neighborhood to see that, to help me block my account numbers, Before I came back into the house, my elder sister had called my number. Like she said, don't mind those foolish people. I just called them now. The idiots, can you come that they cut the call, and so that's when I said, oh my God, that why did you have to call them? That this is what was on ground. He promised me that they will only take 1,000. That with this, you're insulting them now. It's likely they've taken all the money in my account. They said, don't mind them. That did I think they were telling me the truth? But I still believed that they were hoping I was coming to join them. And that also gave me hope that my money, before I'll be able to block it, they wouldn't have touched my account, When I called the driver that had the discussion with me in the vehicle, where I recognized his voice, was the person that picks the phone. So I said that he said, hey, don't forget, so 12 p.m. tomorrow. But the 12 p.m. was supposed to be that particular day, which I did. I called and there was no response. He said 12 p.m. tomorrow. I said, make you call me. I said, I called now. He said, okay. So I now said, but you promised me you were not going to take my money. He said, we didn't take your money. And I said, no. I went to the bank, my money is gone. He said, no, it's only 1,000 they took. So I said, what? You've cleared them. He said, maybe it was the second that did it. I said, well, my money. He said, don't worry, just come tomorrow. We'll return all your money, then we'll help you. He still remembered, you work for us. I said, okay. So the next day at 12 p.m., I called and they picked. Said, come. Shall you come? I said, yes. So yeah, come. Do you know I left home that day? I got around this. I was going to go to the police station to see if they did anything. But when I got to that Dulce area, because he told me to stop somewhere. He told me to stop somewhere around the express before. I didn't know whether they were coming to pick me, So I now became scared. So my thought was now to go to the police station to inform them that this is a situation. But while I was standing there, I now called my sister. My sister said, police people will not do anything. Don't bother yourself. Did I not give them the number? That they called, that if they had called, they were supposed to have been able to track these people, that nothing has, so I shouldn't just waste my time. She now told me to leave that place and go home, that I shouldn't put myself in danger. That was how I went to man. That was how I forgot about the whole thing. In fact, they say they killed anything about trust for anybody. If you are not my family member or somebody, even if I knew you for a long time and you are not somebody I can really vouch for, if you're walking beside me, I'll move away. I just became afraid. The trauma nearly crippled me. Honestly, that guy looked, if it wasn't in that situation, if I had met him in a different scenario, honestly, he looked, I want to describe, innocent. And he looked genuine. But it never crossed my mind throughout that period, maybe to even cause them. I think after a while, after I was able to overcome the pain, and I had to start praying for them. That, hey God, I hope they've not set them ablaze. I just realized I started feeling sorry because I saw him and I started thinking so many things about this guy. I thought about the family he came out from. Then I remembered he said he's an Edo person. Then I started feeling terrible towards my state. And that guy, he spoke good English, very fine English. And I think, even though he spoke pidgin in between, maybe because of the profession they're involved in, I started thinking, this guy must have gone to school. How did he, so yes, I think if I was in a different situation apart from with Sian, I was standing with him, I think I would have treated him in a different way. Yes.
This episode was hosted by me, Hawa Lawal. It was produced by Moisu with the support of Ewoma Omogene. It was edited and sound designed by Moisu. Ewoma Omogene is our managing producer. Ebiye Suwari is our executive producer. This podcast is produced by Voix Collective. You can find Voix Collective on social media at VOIX Collective.